Today's video, we're going to be talking about a massive PlayStation 4 system update that is coming soon. It's already available for those of you in the beta program. There is a huge restructuring in Sony's corporate world, and a classic title from last generation is coming to this generation. More on that in a little bit. First, let's talk about this massive PlayStation 4 system update. Update 5.5, and it has a lot of new features, also including options for PlayStation 4 Pro owners that'll benefit various games. Something that's been a long requested feature is super sampling. If you don't know what super sampling is, think of it this way. The PlayStation 4 Pro runs a lot of games at 4K, or at least that's the idea, but many of you might be playing games on a 1080p display. Well, then you're not seeing those benefits. Well, that's going to be changing with update 5.5. Essentially, what super sampling does is it changes the internal resolution to 4K, and then it'll redisplay the image at 1080p. However, this will improve things like aliasing as well as jaggies and just offer a much smoother picture overall. That is just one of the updates that are coming in 5.5. You'll also be able to delete notifications. You can hide bought items from your library, so you can get rid of all of those demos and other betas that you downloaded and that are just clogging up space. You can create teams to attend in events. This includes competitive gameplay and things like that. And finally, we also know that you'll be able to toggle notifications for when friends sign on. This is all on top of the system-wide super sampling, so huge update coming to PlayStation 4. As always, these updates are free, so you really have nothing to complain about. It'll just improve your quality of life experience on your PlayStation platform, so it's great to see. And that Pro update is definitely going to be a system seller for a lot of people, because not a lot of gamers want to drop a lot of money on a 4K television, but now if you can reap those benefits while still playing on a 1080p display, that's a pretty big deal. As I mentioned, the update is currently in beta, and it will roll out sometime in the future for everyone else, but if you are in the beta program, make sure to check your email and you might be able to check out the update for yourself. Moving on from that, Sony is seeing a massive corporate restructure. First, Kaz Hirai is stepping down as Sony CEO. He was one of the iconic faces of PlayStation. We know about the Kaz Hirai parody Twitter account, which is absolutely hilarious. You should definitely check that out if you haven't, if you want a good laugh. But outside of that, he's also just been one of the more recognizable faces of Sony and PlayStation. He'll be replaced in his roles on April 1st by current Chief Financial Officer Kenshiro Yoshida, and that was just announced. Kaz Hirai has been overseeing Sony since 2012, and he's really turned the company around, especially from a gaming standpoint. The PlayStation 4 has been a colossal success, not a pun with the release of Shadow of the Colossus, but we'll go that route. But nonetheless, he's still gonna be a big fixture in the company, so you don't have to be worried about that, just as far as things like him being the face of PlayStation and being one of the focal points. Expect Kenshiro Yoshida to take over that role. Hopefully, we'll still hear from Hirai often because he has some really good insight in gaming, but still, this is interesting news nonetheless. And finally, one of the best games of last generation is coming to current generation in a kind of interesting way. Far Cry 3 will be hitting the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One in the form of Far Cry 3 Classic Edition. Now, what's interesting is that if you pick up Far Cry 5 Gold Edition, which includes the Season Pass, you will get Far Cry 3 Classic Edition as a part of that. Now, you can also alternatively just buy the Season Pass, or the game is going to be released standalone over the summer. But if you get the Season Pass or you buy Far Cry 5 Gold Edition, you will be getting the game absolutely free. Now, they are calling this game a Classic Edition, and to me, when a publisher is calling a game Classic Edition, that means there probably isn't a remastering being done. I don't know that for fact, but we haven't been told that this game is going to feature improved visuals on the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One, which is very disappointing because on PC, you can play this game with maxed out visuals and higher frame rates, and the game is incredible on PC, so if we don't get a similar experience to that on PlayStation 4 and Xbox One, that is very disappointing. Hopefully, I'm wrong about that, but time will tell. It's just interesting that they are calling it Far Cry 3 Classic Edition. To me, when you call something Classic Edition, that's the same experience to what it was when it was originally released. Again, hopefully I'm wrong. For those of you excited about Far Cry 5, but you still need to be sold on the Season Pass, there are also some other pieces of content that are coming with the Season Pass, including the Hours of Darkness, which will let you travel back in time to Vietnam in various battles, Dead Living Zombies, where you'll face hordes of zombies in multiple B-movie scenarios, and finally Lost on Mars, where you're gonna leave Earth and go to Mars. Very off-the-wall content for Far Cry 5, but still interesting content nonetheless, and you get all of that content as well as Far Cry 3 Classic Edition if you pick up the Season Pass or the Gold Edition. So that's pretty good. Personally, I still need to be sold a little bit more on Far Cry 5. It looks a little bit too much of the same from Far Cry 4 and Far Cry 3. However, that's not really a bad thing since those games were really good. I just want a little bit more more innovation, but it is shaping up pretty nicely. So that wraps up today's video. What do you think? What do you think about this huge update coming to PlayStation 4, update 5.5? What do you think about Sony CEO Kaz Hirai stepping down? It's not gonna be a big impact to gamers, but it's still an interesting topic nonetheless. And is Far Cry 3 Classic Edition a seller for you to get the Far Cry 5 Gold Edition or pick up the Season Pass? Sound off with your thoughts in the comments section down below. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.